Welcome to another episode of UCRD Reviews. Today we have a metal robot spirits release, and it's a KA signature, much like the S Gundam or XS Gundam figures. This one's the MSR-00100S Hyakushiki-Kai mass production type. Although it's called a mass production type, this mobile suit was never actually mass produced. That plan was cancelled. It was based on the Hyaku Shiki Kai itself, shares the same color scheme, and some of the same armaments, but it was simplified and the wing binders were removed. We've never had a figure of this, and I'm really excited that we got this one, just because it's a really neat looking Zeta mobile suit variations design, which is pretty cool. And because it's a KA signature, it has all of his design features as well. So you can see the line art by Kotoki down there, and it's a really neat looking figure. So I went ahead and picked it up, and now we can take a look at it. So here we have the mass production Shiki Kai. A really interesting looking mobile suit. Obviously it has its heritage from the original Hyaku Shiki from Zeta Gundam, piloted by Quattro Bagina or Char Aznable. The figure here has this really nice gold color to it. You have the Shiki markings. You have a lot of detail all over, which is typical of the KA signature figures. And you have this alien looking head on there. You have the nice translucent green. You have the, I think these are pulse laser cannons, I believe, on the head. They're not regular Vulcans, if I remember correctly. The head will go down about that far. It can't come up very much just because the back of the head is so large, and it can turn a decent amount, but again it's limited by the armor. But it looks quite nice. Has a really neat look to it. The shoulders here can come forward quite a bit and backward. These are you got thrusters sculpted in there. These will fold upward or downward. The shoulder armor is hinged as well, so we'll go ahead and hinge it up there. Arms will go up about that far. You have a rotating joint right here where my thumb is. It is a bit stiff, but it'll do a full 360. We'll go ahead and rotate it this way, and we have double jointed elbows, which have quite a bit of articulation. Looks really good. And you have ball jointed hands with a hinge joint in the wrist. And because this is a KA signature, you actually have fists this time around instead of just open hands. So it can lean forward a decent amount and can go backward a decent amount as well. You have a full 360 of side-to-side movement, real easy, doesn't snag on any of the armor, and you have some decent side-to-side as well. So very articulated torso there. You have these red cables that look like they're fixed in place. You have some storage bits here, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. You have thrusters that are also fixed in place. This is your beam saber storage, and this rack can come outward and then move around, and that actually is just to allow you to attach them. There is some rear skirt armor movement, which is unusual. Normally it's fixed in place. Side skirt armor is ball jointed, so that can kind of move out of the way, and same with the front skirt armor. The legs can actually, let me see if I can get closer to the camera here, can actually pull downward. So there's a joint in there, so it can go down or up for added movement. Oops, too far. Lost the side skirt armor there. Let's get that attached. This is, again, a metal robot spirit, so it is a heavier figure, kind of like the Hazel Custom. Leg will come out quite a bit, and that's just because there's not much armor limitation there. You do have thigh swivel, as you can see, and it'll come upward a decent amount. It is going to be blocked by this side skirt armor somewhat. This one likes to pop off. I'd rather it pop off than break. So it'll come up about that far before it hits the skirt armor, and then the knee joint is pretty good, not the best in the world, but it works pretty well. If you hear rain, it is raining outside, so I apologize for the inclement weather. You might not be able to hear it though. So you have a lot of detail right here in the legs, both in paint and just sculpt. A lot of mechanics in there, which is really cool looking. So one thing it can do here is there's actually, you can kind of see it in there, there's like a hydraulic bit, and you can pull down on it, so you can see it kind of came down a bit on the foot and then pull up on it. So I guess it's easier to see like that. So it's a pretty interesting mechanic there. Feet will come up about that far, and as you saw, can pull downward quite a bit. There's the bottom of the feet. Decent side to side, again, because there's no real armor limitations there. And I think that about covers the articulation. So very articulated figure, and again, it's pretty hefty. You know, it's a heavy figure, not quite as heavy as the Hazel Custom, but has a decent amount of weight to it. You do want to be careful of paint rubbing, just because this is a painted figure, but it does look quite amazing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories it comes with real quick. So first things first, we have the standard assortment of hands. We have posing hands, 2 different sets. We have gun hands, and we have very curved beam saber hands. So standard assortment, which is really nice. We do have 2 clay bazookas, if I can get them out of here. So each one is identical. You have the storage connection up here. It'll pull out like that, and the handle will come forward. So these look really nice, and like I said, they're both identical. So to store them, you would fold everything up like so, and in between this gray piece and the backpack itself, it'll actually just clip in. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. And it'll sit just like that. So pretty easy. And then you can do the same with the other side, with the other bazooka. There we go. And so you can clip both of them on the back like so, which looks really nice. So next up here we have the beam rifle. This is the exact same one that the regular Hyakushiki uses. If I can get it out of there. There we go. So it's a neat looking rifle. You have a lot of detail on it. The handle will fold up. The E-pack is removable, which is nice. And this little piece on the side here is removable as well. It's not the easiest thing to get off of there. There we go. And you can attach a storage piece to it, and this just plugs right into the side there. And from here you can attach the gun in the same manner that you could with the clay bazookas, which is really cool. And then we have the beam sabers. So we have 2 handles here. Same thing, they're going to be a real pain to get out. There we go. So again, almost identical to the standard Hyakushikis. You can plug the blade in there, so it has these shorter yellow blades. And you can also store them back here. So you'd pull this out a little bit, angle it forward, and just bring them through and lock it down. and it'll store. They're not like locked in there, but they can't really shake out because this is pushed up against the body. So you can just do that, and it makes them easily removable. So I like that. I think that's a much better design there. You do have two different sets of stand pieces. So you have a larger peg version that goes to the stand that this comes with, that we'll take a look at in a second, and then you have a regular just Act 5 stand piece. And let's see here, got to make sure this is oriented the right way. So the shorter bit faces up toward the front of the body, and it goes right where this gray part is, and it just snaps right in there like that. So you can use it with the stand. And then finally here, this little panel is removable, and you can put the multi-purpose launcher onto the shoulder. So this is kind of the Hyakushiki-Kai MP's signature weapon here. It's a multi-barrel, multi-purpose launcher. Looks really nice. You do want to be careful of this bit sticking off the end there, as well as these head spikes. It is articulated. It doesn't have a secure lockup to the shoulder here, but works well enough and looks really nice. So I'm going to keep that on there for sure. And then finally here we have the stand. This stand is the same as all the other KA signature stands. So you have articulation up here where the peg is. You have the sliding mechanism here that is lockable, so you can lock it in place with this little button here. And then this is multi-jointed. This is jointed down here as well, and you have an extension here that is lockable at different points. So a really nice stand piece. And then you have the actual base here, which has all the information on it, which is really cool. And then of course this just sets right in like that, and you have the stand. So for this review I wanted to do a comparison with another Metal Robot Spirits figure, one that we saw not too long ago, and that is the Hazel Custom. So, you know, these are both pretty hefty figures. You can see the Hazel's a bit bulkier than the Hyaku Shiki Kai. One thing to note before I start spinning them, the joints on the Hazel are a little bit glossier. The metal joints in the Shiki Kai are actually more of a matte finish, which I like. You know, all of the Metal Robot Spirits, I believe up to now, has these more shiny metal colorings to them, where the Shiki Kai you can't really even tell what's a metal joint and what's not, which is kind of nice. So both really neat figures. Again, the Shiki Kai is a KA signature figure, where the Hazel Custom is just a standard Metal Robot Spirits, but both are really neat looking figures, very bulky, or hefty I should say, not necessarily bulky. They both have a bit of weight to them, and yeah, I just wanted to show them both. The Hyaku Shiki Kai mass production type is a fantastic figure. It is a P Bandai, which is unfortunate, but it's a Metal Robot Spirits KA signature figure. And with that means the paint's done really, really well. The gold looks really nice. It has all these markings all over it. It has all the accessories that it needs. It has the gimmicks like storage and things that you can do with it. Everything works really, really well. And it comes with a really cool stand. It's a beautiful looking figure, and it's well deserving of the KA signature title. The problem I have with the figure is it's expensive. This was $166 and change for the pre-order price, and I'm sure it's more than that now. So to put that in perspective, the Hazel Custom, which is also a Metal Robot Spirits release and not a KA signature, comes with all those option part sets, all those weapons, you know, all the variations it can do, and it costs less than this figure, which is crazy. This one is just too expensive. I do feel like I overpaid a bit for this, and in a time where things are getting more and more expensive, they shouldn't be doing so needlessly. So with that said, if you decide to buy this figure, do consider the cost of it versus what you get. Hopefully this review helps you out with that. A couple things I wanted to add before we go. These little gray pieces are removable. Why? I don't know. There's not really any indication in the instructions as to why they're removable, but they are. And one little neat thing that I liked, when you have the storage piece off, you can see there's writing that gets cut off there. You see in that gap. But when you put this piece back on, there's actually writing on the other side of it, so it matches up, which I thought was pretty clever. They also do this with the with this piece here for the rifle, so I thought that was a neat little detail. You know, it's a very detailed figure. Like I said, it has everything it needs, but do consider the price of it. And hopefully we get a Hyakushiki-Kai out of this, or better yet, a full armor Hyakushiki-Kai. So thank you for watching the review. Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if you got it. And thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time.